The bombing of Hiroshima changed the world forever. For on that day, we showed the world the first atomic bomb. Hello, I am Hunter Cowan, and today I will be talking to you about the introduction, bombing, aftermath, and conclusion about the bombing of Hiroshima. So why did we bomb Hiroshima? We bombed Hiroshima because they were a big city with a lot of military, and we were in the war with Japan for almost 4 years, and it was getting to a point that we needed it to end for money-wise and because all the deaths. So we joined the war in 1941, and we started the Manhattan Project in 1942, which was a group of scientists and secret military whose sole job was to create the first atomic bomb. Now, the bomb was dropped on August 6, 1945, and the bomb was nicknamed Little Boy, and the pilot was Paul Tibbets, who flew in the Enola Gay, which was actually nicknamed after his mother. Now, the bomb was specially designed to go off at 12,000 feet because at that altitude, they calculated that it would have the most destruction on all the wooden houses and buildings around. And they also detonated right over, as the Manhattan Project, the bombing of Hiroshima says, directly over a parade field where soldiers of the Japanese Second Army were doing calisthenics. Now they did it in this area specifically because that was the main focus on the bomb, was to wipe out all of the military in the city. Now, with the bombing of Hiroshima, it is estimated that the single bomb is responsible for over 200,000 deaths. Now, around 800,000 died in the first, as History.com says, the explosion wiped out 90% of the city and immediately killed 800,000 people. Now, this is a big deal because when it means by immediately killed, it means that anyone who was near the bomb just burst into flames and just vaporized in front of everyone. And even the birds in the sky, it is said, that they just caught on fire and just plummeted to the earth, which is not good. Because with that bomb, it was the heat and the radiation, and that's how you get to the 200,000 deaths, is because anyone who did not die automatically usually got radiation poisoning, and actually the city was quarantined for a pretty long time because the Japanese thought it was some kind of special disease. But luckily, after a while, they discovered that it was just radiation poisoning, and they hurried in to help everyone that was still there. People would be there and have their skin falling off their bones because it was so bad, so they would have to wrap it in a wet cloth for it to better heal. And sad fact is that less than 5% of the people didn't have legs or everyone but 5% had legs, because the people with legs could not make it out of the fire and usually died because they could not move. But it is said that Paul Tibbets, even though he was 11.5 miles away, his plane started shaking and he thought he was under fire, only to turn back and to realize that it was the shock wave from the bomb. He said he turned back and just saw the city up in smoke with the terrible mushroom cloud. And sadly, as you already heard, it was worse even inside the city. Now, Hiroshima was in total destruction. 90% of the buildings were either damaged or completely gone. There were pictures that the whole city is just flat. However, there is a good thing to this bomb. For due to this bomb in Nagasaki, Japanese finally surrendered. Which the sad part about their surrender is they didn't even surrender after Hiroshima and the Little Boy. Even though it was estimated almost 200,000 deaths, they still thought that they had it in them to fight it, and they were even sending suicide bombers to go and attack. However, when we sent the second bomb, Fat Man, on Nagasaki, they lost another 40,000 people, and their government finally unconditionally surrendered to the United States. This was a big deal because soldiers were in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and all those places in Japan for almost 4 years, and they finally got to go back home and be with their family, and this was great for the American people. Now, a big question nowadays is, was it the right thing to do? And this can be taken both ways because, yes, it ended the war, it made it so American people could go home, and it is estimated that we would have lost more lives if we didn't do that. But it is also that most of the people that died there were citizens, just women and children, because it had a population in Hiroshima of 300,000 civilians to only 40,000 military operatives. Now, we learned a lot from this bombing, however. For instance, we learned now that we can gain ultimate destruction on any city in the world. This is, again, good and bad thing. It's good because we now know that if something gets way too out of control, we can end it in a heartbeat. But also, if the bomb gets in the wrong hands, this can be really bad for the world. Now, after all of this, it is a good thing to know that since these two bombings, no one has ever dropped another atomic bomb on another nation. So no matter if you're for or against the atomic bomb, we can all delight in the fact that no one else has died by one. Thank you for your